hold in my mind two parallel conflicting thoughts. On one side, I love technology. It's great. It makes our lives better. It enriches everything. Information at your fingertips. Unless your stupid laptop can't figure out that it has a Wi-Fi card installed and just is like, I've never seen this in my life, and just sits there and pretends that there's no Wi-Fi, even though I'm sitting here on my phone on the Wi-Fi, you're on your Wi-Fi, everything else in the house is connected. I think we have a toaster somewhere that can dial up and get on the web if it wants to. But this laptop has decided, even though it did a Windows, even though it did a Windows update, I'm being facetious.
Okay.
Even though it did a Windows update 6 hours ago, because it says, "Hey, I did a Windows update."
Refrigerators can do
I
that.
did a Windows update 6 hours ago, but now it's like we have no internet and we've never heard of it before.
Refrigerators can do that though.
Yeah, we don't have one of those
No,
because
you have an old
we have
one.
an ancient refrigerator, and I will never get rid of it. It's not old. It's not the oldest appliance in our house.
No, let's not get into that.
Oh, come on. No, they have to know now. So the
No.
oldest appliance in our house.
No. Guys, guess what you think the oldest appliance in our house is?
You'll be wrong.
And you'll be wrong. And it's nothing creepy or weird. Don't be weird like that. I can already...
I wasn't going to be creepy or weird about it. It's a microwave.
Why? I said guess.
I'm sorry. Are we bringing guests in today? How are they going to guess?
I meant that people could listen and then give us their best guesses.
So it's my old microwave from college. I got it in
It's always
2003 when Dad
my
took me to
gosh.
Walmart the day before I left to college to buy towels and a microwave.
No, you didn't buy that microwave. I was with you when you bought that microwave.
Oh, were you?
Because Sarah, my roommate at the time, they were on sale at Walmart, and we all went and got them for our dorm rooms. And Sarah bought the one
I
for
wonder
my
if
dorm
she still
room.
has hers.
Probably not, because most people want it be just
It
like
still
this.
works just fine.
It really does.
It doesn't do anything wrong. It warms the stuff up the
I
way
bought
you
the
want
other
the stuff
stuff
warmed up.
so that was one of the things that she bought. But now everyone's going to judge us deeply for that. But hey, everybody, welcome to We Watch TV.
It's the podcast about the TV that we watch. I'm Daniel. She is Hope, and this is episode 51.
51. We had an entirely different opening to start this out, and then Daniel's little laptop here, as you know, just it's having some issues.
Pooped its pants. It's pooped its pants.
It's a great start to 2024.
And the worst part is, and you tell everybody, because you know this is true. The worst part about this is not that the laptop's Wi-Fi isn't working.
He will obsess about this.
The worst part is that until it's fixed, all I will be able to concentrate on is getting it fixed.
Yes, that is correct.
And it's January. Can you not tell? Just
January.
gotta love January.
It's like the Monday of months.
It's truly the armpit of the calendar.
January always lasts 6 months.
It smells.
It's cold.
It hasn't showered.
It's
hairy.
Like I said, it's the Monday of, and you know what? If you're one of those people, because people were complaining about January, I saw earlier on Facebook, and people were like, "Well, my birthday's in January." Well, I'm sorry.
People will defend anything.
I guess
And
so.
January is indefensible. And I'm sorry if you were born in January. That should make you want to hate January even more.
Yeah. When do you think would be the best month to have a birthday? I think October would be good. Because you're kind of in that, like, I love fall, but you're not getting buried by Thanksgiving and Christmas yet. And October is really, like, I feel like all the Burr months in particular are great, but like October I think is like the best month.
I mean, November's okay depending on when. Mine falling late near Thanksgiving.
Daniel's is
not so
near.
good.
In 2024, you're going to have your big 4-0 on Thanksgiving.
Thanks for reminding me.
No problem. Anyway, happy 2024. We had some different polls up for you guys during the holiday season and after the holiday season. And I'm going to go over the results with some of those. Does that sound good? Or do we want to complain about the laptop some more?
I'll complain about the laptop some more, but I'll do that off the
So that's just
air.
reserved for me?
That's just reserved for you. That's the
Got
special
it.
content
Got
just for
it.
Hope.
Okay, so we had some Christmas ones regarding our Home Alone discussion. If you haven't seen or listened to that episode yet, check out Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal. Is that what we called it?
Yeah.
Go ahead and check out that episode. Maybe if you're missing the holidays, that might put you in the spirit. If you're like me and we can leave the Christmas lights up till January. I'm such a good singer. You might still be in the holiday mood. But our poll number 1 was Pigeon Woman from Home Alone 2. Was she a real person or was she a ghost? And I am sorry, Daniel, but you lost in dramatic fashion. She was a real person. The votes have it.
Just like all of you January defenders out there, you're wrong. You're all wrong. She's a ghost. You'll never convince me she's not.
Now, Old Man Marley, was he the South Bend Shovel Slayer? Is he totally a murderer? Guess what? You all voted that he is totally a murderer. So you think he is the South Bend Shovel Slayer.
And see, that's my opinion on it as well, but I don't take any I don't take this as a victory. I think most of you voted sarcastically on that one.
Who knows? I mean, it does. That one adds up more than your stupid ghost theory. Then we had Candy Cane.
Why is she dressed like that?
Trash. Candy Cane. Smash or trash.
Trash.
And again, she got her clothes probably from rummaging around on like set clothes or, there's all kinds of shows in New York. Or from a dumpster, Daniel. She's not going to be dressing in like Gucci.
I'm going to tell you right now, do not push me. That place where they're listening to the symphony, I will look up and see if they actually do plays there.
Well, even if they don't, there's other places.
Why would there be clothes there?
There's other places that she could go dumpster diving for old sets. It's New York City.
Now she's a thief.
The world is your oyster. Well, I mean, she also threw like birdseed on the criminal people and let them attack them. And she
act of heroism.
Okay. Can we get back to this episode's already all over the place. This is how it's going to be in 2024. Unhinged. Candy Cane, smash or trash. You all voted wrong and voted smash. I feel like Daniel and I are the only people that don't love candy canes, and I'm baffled by this. I truly thought that more people would dislike candy canes.
If I need to freshen my breath, I can think of about 15 different better things than a long pole that I'm shoving in my mouth.
Well, it's like... Also, unless you get the tiny little ones that they just come out of the plastic like easily, like the way classic candy canes are wrapped, the wrapping itself is annoying. You have to like peel it. It's a mess and it's not good. Like I don't hate a candy cane, like I said, like a mint, like from a mint perspective.
I hate them.
Like it's not like candy corn is like still way worse. But you would eat like a peppermint, which is basically the same thing as a candy cane. I've seen you do that.
Yeah,
because it's
made to go in your mouth like a reasonable thing.
But apparently you guys all really like candy canes. And then we had our Boxing Day episode on December 26th, obviously. And it was to pick your favorite Rocky movies. Rocky 5, we couldn't put it on there because, no one really likes that one anyway. And Instagram only lets you put a certain number of choices. And Rocky 3 and 4.
And now Instagram has updated its app. And I'm looking at it, trying to log onto the account to read some comments. And it's just like a completely changed things. What are you doing? What are we doing here?
Okay. Can I continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Rocky 3 and 4 were tied, which that surprised me. Did that surprise you?
I did. Yes, it did. That surprised me.
I really thought that Rocky 4 would win. So then we decided, let's narrow it down then. Do you like Rocky 3 or Rocky 4 the best? And Rocky 3 won. That is my pick. My favorite one is Rocky 3. But I feel like typically, I guess, outside of our Instagram world, most people always say Rocky 4 is the best one because we have Ivan Drago, I Must Break You, we defeat communism, it is on Christmas Day. Unfortunately, we lose Apollo Creed, so that's an emotional gut punch. The training sequence as Rocky's running up the mountain and then Ivan Drago's roiding up and on the treadmill. You know that every time I do a treadmill workout, my incline increases. And I don't pretend I'm taking roids, but like I always like visualize like the scene from Rocky. That's how much that movie lives rent-free in my head. But are you surprised that Rocky 3 won?
A little bit, because I kind of thought Rocky 4 would get
Rocky 3, maybe people are like me. They like the bromances. Did you find the comment that you want to read yet?
Yeah, I did. I wanted to shout out to Jason, actually my old coach from college.
Don't call it. His name is Coach.
He was so enthusiastic about this that he actually pressed send on his message early. But he just wanted to make sure that we were aware. He voted for Rocky 3, but Rocky 4 holds a special place in his heart because it's the first one he saw in theaters. And he also makes, I think, a rather shocking statement that if Rocky Balboa, the sixth Rocky movie was included, he would have had to consider it in his number 1 or 2.
The sixth one is really good. I wouldn't put it in my number 1 or 2, but I would put it like I probably if I had to rank them right now, I'm just going to rank them right now. I would go Rocky 3, Rocky 4, then I would probably put the OG Rocky, then I would put Rocky Balboa, that one, and then Rocky 2, and then 50 Feet of Crap, and then Rocky 5. And then I really do like the Creed movies as well that have I don't think you saw the other Creed one.
I mean, I guess technically Rocky's in the first 2, right? So he's
I think so. I don't think he's in the
like
they are 3 of those, right?
They are like truly Rocky canon, but I guess
yes.
are there offshoots? Do you rank them in
I
the Rocky
rank
movies,
them in it,
or
no.
would you have to be like a greater cinematic Rocky universe?
It would have to be a greater
include them?
cinematic universe, similar to how when I rank the Star Wars movies, I wouldn't put Solo and what is the one Rogue One. I was like, what is the one I like better than Solo?
So you would only be ranking episodes.
Yes.
Okay.
But that would be my Rocky rankings. So, yeah, that is the results of our polls.
I'll be honest with you, like of all the polls that we've put up, we got the most participation on the 2 that we did for Rocky here, and it just like blew me away. I was like, I didn't know everybody was so enthusiastic about Rocky.
I've been telling you this for years. For years. What's your favorite training sequence? Now, the training sequence in Rocky 4 is really good, but I'm still going to go with Rocky 3 because of the bromance with him and Apollo running on the beach and then they're hugging each other. Sometimes I really think you picked the first Rocky just so you can be like, I picked the first one. Like, seriously.
When have you ever known me to do something like that?
All my life.
Please tell me when I have ever done anything like that.
Now, this isn't a poll, but would you rather have Gatorade, mustard, mayonnaise, or be a live Pop-Tart killed and reincarnated into a giant Pop-Tart and then ate by fans? Or did I say mayonnaise? Mayonnaise dumped on your head.
You said mayonnaise, yeah.
I think I went off course there. So would you rather have mayonnaise dumped on your head, mustard dumped on your head,
or be toasted in
or
a giant
Gatorade
toaster,
dumped on your head, or be like
and
toasted
then eaten by football players?
Yes.
I'm going to go with the Gatorade.
Yes. So on our last podcast, which came out, I believe, after the game had aired because we've been recording early because, the holidays, WVU did win the prestigious Duke's Mayo Bowl.
And I want to shout out Duke's Mayo because I'll be honest, like when I heard it was the Duke's Mayo Bowl,
I was like, what is Duke's Mayo?
This is dumb. The bowl season has really gotten dumb.
I didn't even know that was a brand.
They went for it from the sponsorship level in a really hard and funny way, and I appreciated it. Like, they realized how kind of stupid it was that a Mayo company was sponsoring a bowl game, and they went for it.
Oh, their social media team that ran the Duke's Mayo Bowl was fantastic. They even had a shout out, which I still don't trust the Climb, but they had a shout out like to the Climb. It's like the WVU saying since the Neil Brown era, where they had Miley Cyrus singing the Climb from the Hannah Montana movie at the end of the bowl, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love you people. The commercials, that mascot was like insane. I saw a meme earlier, and it was like the Duke's Mayo mascot with the big Pop-Tart mascot, and it was like Oppenheimer versus Barbie. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. Then the sideline reporter was just eating mayonnaise the whole time. The guys that were calling the game, they were bringing them out. Okay, one, it is sacrilege to put mayonnaise on a pepperoni roll.
Absolutely
don't
ridiculous.
Do it. If
That's
you don't know what a
disgusting.
pepperoni roll is not a pizza roll. It's like basically bread.
I wouldn't put mayonnaise on a pizza roll
Me
either.
either.
I wouldn't put mayonnaise anywhere near a pizza-related item.
Yes, no. The thing that really took me out, though, and I almost threw up, was the nachos.
Oh,
they
that was disgusting.
Glopped the mayonnaise.
You couldn't
over
even see the chips.
Then they were putting them on donuts, which one was like I think this was more of like a mustard base, but like a bourbon flavor. And I'm like, okay. I was like, if WVU wins this game, I'm going to have to buy some Duke's Mayo. So I'm going to have to go find some, buy some. I didn't realize this until the beginning of the game because they were just so into the mayo talk that whoever wins the game, the coach gets doused in mayonnaise. And can I just say that it was literally the highlight of my WVU season and the Neil Brown era. Forget winning 9 games, watching Neil Brown get a basically one of those big cooler size things of mayonnaise just glopped over
You could
him.
tell he's not a mayonnaise guy.
And I had wondered if they watered the mayonnaise down because it came out like less. Like one of my friends did a bet with his daughter, like if they won 9 games, she could dump mayonnaise on his head. So like he posted a video of it. If you're listening, because I know you're one of our listeners, I watched your video, and it was just very much more gloppy than the stuff they poured over the WVU coach. But then somebody commented that was at the game and said that the whole time on the sidelines, they were just like shaking it around. So now I'm like, if I just shake my jar of mayonnaise, is it going to come up all weird like that? I feel like that was just, it was chaos. And then I didn't, and you know what? I was like, wow, for a small bowl game, that's like the most fun I've ever had watching like not one of like the big bowl games. And even if we had lost, just the chaotic nature of it, I was like, all right.
It was like when the announcers were doing the stupid promotional stuff.
Yeah.
Normally, I'm just tuned out on that. But this time, I'm like, well, I'm going to watch him eat weird stuff. Like, yes, I need to see this.
But then, when I thought it couldn't get any weirder, the Pop-Tarts Bowl was like, hold my beer. So they had the big mascot, like the Pop-Tart, who walked around the whole game.
Well, he came out of the Pop-Tart at the toaster at the beginning.
Okay.
Like, that's how he was introduced. And then he was running around the whole game.
Having a great time.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's funny.
Game ends. They stick him in a toaster, and basically they killed him.
They killed him.
And
ate
out
him.
pops a giant Pop-Tart that is edible.
That
and
looks
the
like
winning
him.
team got to just start eating him. And I'm like, okay, you know what? If we're going to continue doing these crappy toilet bowls, this is the content that I am here for.
This will get me to tune into this
This
stuff.
will get me to watch this stuff. I haven't watched any of the New Year's Six Bowls.
I feel like when I saw that Pop-Tart stuff, it reminded me of the first time we were in Disneyland and we rode Mr. Toad's Wild Ride for the first time, because we had never it existed at Disney.
I rode it at Disney World with my parents,
but we
I
never
have no
saw
memories.
it. Like, we were too young to remember it, and so neither of us remembered that at the end of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, he goes to hell.
We were like, "Are we going to hell?"
And at the end of the Pop-Tarts Bowl, they murdered the Pop-Tart and ate him.
Kind of crazy.
I don't even care about the national championship at this point. That made my bowl season.
I think I would take the Gatorade if I had to have something dumped on me, because I feel like that would, like, you'd be sticky. But the mayonnaise, that just is going to get in your hair, and you could tell that Neil Brown is not a mayo fan. I'm like, that idiot probably likes Miracle Whip. Let's call it what it is. If you like Miracle Whip, you're wrong. Just throwing it out there. So that's some of the stuff we've been watching, some of the bowls. And then, let's see here. We have also finished season 4 of What We Do in the Shadows, and we've just started season 5. What are your thoughts so far on season 5? We are going to be caught up when we finish season 5.
Just want to note for the record that you're the one that deviated from the show notes. I'm always guilty of it. I'm always guilty of it, and you just threw me through a loop there.
I literally just did not go in the direct order, which there was never any
That's
order of it.
what going off the script means. Like, you accuse me of doing. You tell me that
our next segment, you guys, is going to be I Watch TV podcast, because Daniel hasn't been watching much with me. He's been playing games, so I thought we'd break it up a bit. Unhinged for 20.
Season 4 of What We Do in the Shadows. In hindsight, we should have seen this coming, but Colin Robinson returns.
Guillermo
from boy form
asks to be changed into a vampire.
And Guillermo asks to be changed into a vampire
Gizmo.
From his friend who had been turned
several
seasons prior.
Yeah, which I wondered the entire time. And then we get to the season 5 premiere, and they explain why, if you're familiar, it's like an insult to ask another vampire to change you. Because the whole time I've always been like, why doesn't Guillermo just get somebody else to do it?
Yeah.
So now we are into season 5. Colin Robinson is back to normal Colin Robinson. We're guessing that this is just how these things work. I
think they alluded to that as essentially they subconsciously write journals and keep all this
reload
stuff,
their memories.
and then just when they come back at some point, they have this urge to go to the spot where they know it is, relearn their memories, and go on from there. And that's how energy vampires
die,
operate.
They're reborn.
Yeah.
They age rapidly, but then he's not remembering anything from his time with Laszlo, which I thought was weird.
Well, he's saying he's not.
He's saying.
I'm still wondering if they might have something through the season
do you
that
like
tickles
that this Colin Robinson is back, or do you miss?
No, I liked it. I had enough of the kid Colin Robinson. And
hey, Laszlo, guess what? They nailed the annoying mannerisms of kids.
And as soon as he's back in season 5, they have him as a server at a restaurant, and it's like he's doing all the most annoying things.
Hey, Daniel, guess what?
What?
Chicken butt. So Guillermo, sort of a vampire. Gizmo. So he's sort of a vampire, but not fully.
He's having trouble turning, and it makes me wonder
Do we think
if
it's that Van Helsing
yeah,
blood?
if it's the Van Helsing blood that's like resisting it. And I like he made a Blade joke early in the season.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if they actually might like wink and nod and go with that. Like Blade is a vampire, but he's a day walker. He can walk around outside in the day and kind of act more like a regular human, but he's still a vampire.
Oh, and Guillermo last season finally confirmed that he is gay.
Yes.
We know that Nandor swings both ways. That's, Gizmo's.
I'll be honest with you.
master.
If they're going to end the game us with those two,
Nandor's
got a lot
gonna have
of,
to be a little nicer.
Yeah, he's got a lot of catching up to do.
I used to wonder about it, but they've been planting the seeds a lot, and they went a lot harder in season 4. That makes me think it could actually be a thing. But like, he's like gonna have to give Guillermo a little more respect to make it. Like, do you think it'll be like? What do you think?
I've stopped trying to predict this show because every time I do, they go off in a wild, crazy direction that I hadn't thought of, and I think that's just what's.
I'm going to be really bummed when we hit the end of season 5 because season 6 is already confirmed as the last season, and with the strike, obviously they were delayed. And I have a bunch of shows that we're going to list off that's confirmed for 2024, and I did not see that on there, even though I think IMDb says 2024.
Yeah, I get the feeling that this is a show like The Bear season 2 wasn't really confirmed for a long time, and then it just popped up because they can film it really quickly.
I love The Bear.
And so I wonder if it's kind of similar to that. I don't know. We haven't been watching since, so I don't know how long they always wait in between seasons.
According to IMDb, season 5 was airing still in 2023. So anyway, now are you ready to jump back
into Hope Watches TV?
This is now called the I Watch TV podcast, as Daniel has, as one does after the holidays. That really crappy, weird time period where we were just kind of doing our own thing. We're exhausted. The holidays are tiring. Yes. Even if you're not a ghost pigeon woman or the South Bend shovel slayer, a lot of people have a lot going on. So I breezed through. I feel this was actually before Christmas.
You watched this in like a long weekend.
Yeah, I literally watched this over the weekend. My Life with the Walter Boys on Netflix. I had seen previews for it. I'd seen some TikToks, and everyone was like, oh my gosh, this is basically like a ripoff of The Summer I Turned Pretty, which I love. I guess there was one book, and the girl wrote the book when she was like 14 or 15. And suddenly, I think everybody's trying to find that magic of The Summer I Turned Pretty. So Netflix bought this book and did the season. Let's see here. Riley from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, who's also been in a bunch of Hallmark movies, plays the dad. I always hated Riley on Buffy, so even though the dad's a good guy, I'm like, ugh. Donna from Suits is the mom. So they have like all these like boys. I think most of them are their biological kids. Then they have some of the cousins or something living with them. So there's like a bunch of kids. I lost track of all the boys that are around. And
the Walter Boys.
The Walter Boys. And there's one girl that lives with the Walter Boys before Jackie shows up. So then
uncredited.
She's credited.
Because it's the Walter Boys.
It's not the Walter Boys and a girl plus another girl now.
Well,
can I continue? So Jackie...
Just trying to contribute to this section that I did not watch any of.
Jackie is a New York City gal. I don't know where... I think they're like in Colorado or something for the Walter Boys. And Jackie's a New York City gal. Her mom's a fashion designer. Well, her mom, sister, and dad were all in a car accident. They are dead. So her uncle, who's like younger, you kind of get introduced to him. He travels a lot for work. And I guess like her mom's like will had it so that Jackie would go live with this woman who is the matriarch, the mother, Donna from Suits of the Walter Boys. And she goes out to Colorado to live with them, basically becoming like their daughter. But what happens when you bring a teenage girl into the house with teenage boys? Obviously, the boys are going to be into her. So two of the boys in particular, Cole and Why am I forgetting the other one's name? Probably because he doesn't matter. Ugh. Like, as usual, the moody older brother is the one that's the best one, as per the script. That's how it always goes. Like, Damon, Conrad from The Summer I Turned Pretty. Like, I could just go on and on about why it's always the one. Now I've completely drawn a blank on who the other guy is. Oh, well. So she naturally gravitates towards like the nicer one at first, even though you can tell she has a connection with the much better looking and moody, grumpy older brother. And there's those complications throughout. Obviously, she's still grieving very much. And she finally kisses the older one in a moment of passion when she realizes that he fixed her teapot that was really special to her. That's the whole thing. She and her sister would like collect teapots, so it was like something special. He fixed it, and it was just really sweet. It was a really good kiss. I can tell that Netflix really is like a try-hard trying to be The Summer I Turned Pretty with this. Somebody on Reddit was like, it's like the Hallmark version of The Summer I Turned Pretty. I'm like, yes. That's a perfect description, because obviously it doesn't have like the Taylor Swift music, so there's like different music. They had like probably less of a budget. And if the show ends, of course, she decides to, bounce out of there, go back to New York with her uncle for the summer, probably because she doesn't want to face the fact that she was basically dating one of the brothers, then went ahead and hooked up with the other, and they had just like mended their relationship, the two brothers, so now she's kind of screwing it up again. And the whole time I'm like, should we be dating any of their brothers? Because you're basically like a sister at this point, even though you're not raised together and you don't share blood. It's kind of weird. Yes, you have your hand up. Do you have a question, sir?
So in The Summer I Turned Pretty, she spends time at the beach away from her normal place of residence. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so it seems like maybe in this one, she spends the summer at home in New York, and so you could have renamed the show the Winter I Slummed It in Colorado.
Well, she's there for more than oh my gosh. Oh, you.
Sorry, I'm just over here trying to contribute.
Anyway, it was very good though. It's definitely no The Summer I Turned Pretty, but it's just in my wheelhouse. Love triangles, sadness. Not that I like sad shows, but like complicated stuff. Teen dramas, and I started that, and I literally did finish it in a weekend. It was like the weekend right before Christmas, or like the weekend before like the Christmas Eve weekend. I knocked that baby out, got it done, and I guess that's how the book kind of ends, like that a little bit. Although I think Cole does go to New York with her, so I'm pretty sure they're going to be endgame. But they have there's no book for a second season, but it did so well, and everyone was starved for content like myself, and they already have a season 2 that they've been greenlit, and apparently supposedly season 2 is going to come out in 2024. We'll see. I'm like, is there even a script? Like, what is going on? It's really bothering me that I don't know the other guy's name, so I'm going to look this up really quick. Daniel, talk about something while I do this.
Hey everybody, so listen up here. A couple of Star Trek announcements for you. First,
Alex is the younger brother's name. And you know what? I'm just going to say this. And there are no I actually have a Star Trek update later. Alex has the nice guy syndrome thing. Like, oh, you need to like me because like I'm a nice guy. And he comes off really obsessive. And that's annoying. So that's one of the other reasons why I would be Team Cole. And it's just clear that they have more of a connection. So if you like The Summer I Turned Pretty, you like teen dramas, go check it out. If you're like, oh my gosh, you guys didn't spend enough time between it, I hope you totally spoiled the whole show. Sweetie, my darlings. The moment I saw a preview for this, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, she's going to hook up with the younger one first because he's nice. But she's going to have a better connection with the older one. They're going to kiss at the end of the season. End scene. I mean, you could like literally, without even watching it, I knew exactly what I was in for, and I'm still here for it. My number one complaint with that show, not her, slumming it in Colorado, as you say, is she's supposedly like a track star. That's not how track is. One, they had this Colorado people, I assume you don't have just dirt tracks in the year, right? It was just like this dirt. It almost looked like a cross country course, but it was like a track. And then she's like training, and suddenly she's like the 400 winner. And I'm like, no, no, no. The running they were doing, she would not be running the 400. She would probably be doing the 3200 or something. It's probably how like lawyers feel when they watch like shows about like lawyers. And that's how I feel when I watch shows where they try to pretend like they know what track or cross country is. I'm like, that's not how it is. That's not how meets look. That's not how meets go. No. And you would have been annoyed. I guarantee you would have been annoyed by that scene.
I was so annoyed by it, I just chose not to watch it.
I guess so. So what else in the I Watch TV podcast did I do? Let's see here. I watched My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. Finally, I rented that the other night. Daniel comes up. He's like, what are you watching? I'm like, oh, I just randomly decided to rent this movie because I wanted to see it in theaters. It was barely in theaters at all. You and I saw the second one together in theaters. You watched the first one with your mom. I know you told me you did, but I know I've made you watch the first one with me before.
I have no memory of either.
We totally. It's got Aiden from Sex and the City in it.
I know
John
that.
Corbett's in it. I don't know why the And Just Like That people didn't let John Corbett look like he did in My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3, where he looked healthy and he really looked good. I think they made him lose a bunch of weight and grow his hair out. And it was all strainy and awful and Just Like That. I'm like, he looked so much better in this movie. That being said, a big stinker. My big fat stinker. I mean, I was entertained because I like the characters, but they really struck gold with that first one. The first one was like so low budget and it just blew up, and it's considered one of like the best rom-coms, probably in 20 years. It's that good. The second one, not great. This one, why did we even make this? But I still had fun watching it. It's kind of a bummer though, because you remember the dad that sprayed everything with Windex.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he would really he's obviously dead. And so they're going to his village in Greece.
Obviously. God, how many drinks have we taken on this episode for dead parents or dead grandparents at this point? You got what, 3 in the man, you got like a triple shot on the Walter Boys, because you got a mom, a dad,
sister.
and a sister. That's a triple shot. Now you got a dead one here. 4. We're up to 4 shots at this point.
But if you like My Big Fat Greek Weddings and you just want to see how this one goes and you just want to enjoy the cast, then give it a go. But it's probably good we didn't waste our money in theater seeing that. And then I've also randomly, I just decided to. I don't know why you besmirched this show, because it's literally many people.
I don't besmirch the show.
I
Don't put words into my mouth, woman.
I have started rewatching Friday Night Lights, which is one of my favorite TV shows series of all time. You're either a movie person or you're a show person. I am the show person. I think you are absolutely wrong if you prefer the movie over the show. The show is fantastic. Season 1. Now, I know season 2 is kind of wonky. I haven't gotten to that one yet, but I've really breezed through season 1 quickly in a week.
Okay, here's my issue. It has nothing to do with this show. It has to do with when you choose to watch this show. We're sitting down to enjoy a New Year's Eve and
watched What We Do in the Shadows on New Year's Eve.
And watch, enjoy the festivities, etc., etc., etc. And all of a sudden I hear the theme music to this show. I know the theme music to this show because you've watched this show enough. And I'm like, what are you doing?
I wanted to see the Dylan Panthers. Clear eyes,
and she
full
just
hearts,
randomly
can't lose,
has decided
baby.
to start watching Friday Night Lights for the
Clear
fourth
eyes,
time
full
or
hearts,
something.
can't lose.
Well, I'm looking forward. I want to watch the Mario movie. I want to watch some of the New Year's Eve festivities that are on live. Even though Miley didn't do it this year, and I'm filled with infinite sadness about it.
Rockin' Eve was crap.
But that's what gets me about this show is your timing on it is never any good. And then somehow you're like you said, you're like in episode.
Because it's
20
that good.
of this first season,
Clear
and this is like a full hour
hearts,
show, and it's
can't
just
lose.
also
This show, especially season 1, is you know how we think the OC season 1 is fantastic just for what it was a teen drama? I would say season 1 in particular, Friday Night Lights, is literally a masterpiece. And no, you don't have to like football to enjoy it, because that's not what it's about.
okay. But you know what?
So
Something
it's so good.
Do you know something?
It's so good.
Do you know something that I do like?
What?
That I have to be able to have at
We're
a show
pointing at each other.
in order to enjoy it?
What?
A camera on a tripod.
I like the artistic style. You
It's
either
not
like
artistic.
it-
It's dumb.
No, it's not dumb.
It's dumb. They're shaking that camera around, and it's like,
You are not a panther.
thank God.
Don't you love Coach Taylor? You said you liked Tammy Taylor, Coach's wife.
They need to stop with the shaky cam stuff.
What really annoyed me, you guys, is I was just talking to Daniel for like a solid 10 minutes. He was nodding along, agreeing. I was talking about the guy that plays Matt Saracen, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, every time I see him, because as you guys know, I will call you by the name that I associate with you from a show. Like Jackson Avey from Grey's Anatomy was Tolbert Toblerone on Only Murders. I just said Donna from Suits on My Life with the Walter Boys. Well, the guy that plays Matt Saracen, I forget his name. I don't remember the actor's name, but he's been showing up in some of the Hill House stuff, and he was on the recent season of The Fall of the House of Usher. He was also in Midnight Mass, and I'm always like, oh, it's Matt Saracen. So we're having this like deep conversation. So I thought about it. So Daniel sits down to watch some of Friday Night Lights with me, and he's like, where have I seen that guy? And I'm like, that's from The Fall of House of Usher. And he's like, oh. And I'm like, we had like a 10-minute discussion about this.
Listen, if you're having a discussion with me and I'm not answering back other than yeah, we're not having a discussion.
That's why I always want you to look at me when I talk to you. And even sometimes that, he just like clicks out. He like zones out. You're like that guy from Parks and Rec, like the senator guy that April worked with. That was like, the weather's nice today. Like you can do this like whole autopilot creepy thing.
Yeah.
But Friday Night Lights is a great show.
Okay.
One of the best. And I'm so glad. I just see what you're doing right now. I'm so glad that I'm rewatching it.
Hey, it's 2024, and that means new things might come out?
Yeah,
question mark.
Slow roll.
We're going to try and do our best to look at a few things that we know are coming this year and give our thoughts on our excitement level, and then I think hopefully we'll get some dates later in the year. And like everything's kind of sitting out there like, we might.
The strike definitely delayed stuff. So the writer's strike was always going to delay stuff because obviously you need writers. But then the actors, that really like put a lot of stuff kind of at bay. So there was stuff that was switched around. According to an article on Deadline that we looked at, I just pulled some of the stuff that was kind of, I thought was memorable for you guys and that we were sort of looking forward to. We have dates on a couple things, and then we have some confirmations in 2024, and other stuff, like Daniel said, is still up in the air. So we know, and it's been done. We were supposed to get it in December. I could have been watching this instead of flying through My Life with the Walter Boys. Bridgerton Season 3, which is based on they're jumping ahead to the fourth book, Romancing Mr. Bridgerton. It's Colin and Penelope's story. It's my second favorite book of the Bridgerton series. Like I said, we were supposed to get it in December. We are finally getting Season 3 on Netflix on May 16th, but Netflix is like, you know what? We're going to have to space out this content here and tick you off even more. So we're giving you part 1 on May 16th, and then you got to wait till June for part 2. Crap. Would you like to mention the next show? I put it on there just for you.
Okay, what does Bluey Season 3B mean?
Bluey! Remember my favorite cartoon, air quotes?
Yeah.
on Disney Plus?
What does 3B mean?
I guess it probably means like I bet they did part 1 and then they probably said a part A, part B would be my guess. Whatever that means. So I know a lot of people do watch Bluey, though.
Okay.
Bluey's cute. I didn't realize Bluey was a girl, though. I thought Bluey was a boy.
Did you know that...
Are you going to talk about Blue's Clues, that Blue was a girl and that for years?
No.
I never knew that. Okay.
Did you know that Hello Kitty is a little girl dressed up as a cat? Not a cat?
I did not know that, I think, until I saw something on TikTok.
Mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing. If you are into award shows, the Primetime Emmy Awards, I think they were actually delayed. They were supposed to be earlier, but the 75th year, airing on Fox, January 15th. I put this on here just because I know some of you guys watch it. I've only seen a couple episodes of Chicago Fire, but we've got Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, and Chicago PD, all 3 different shows.
We got Chicago covered.
They return January 17th.
All emergency services will be available.
A couple episodes I've seen of Chicago Fire, I feel like I would like that show, but there's just so many, and I don't know how they all intertwine, and I'm like, I'd really have to, like, that could be a show I could see myself randomly watching one year, like Suits, which I'm still not even close to being done with Suits. I'm going to have to circle back to that. You would like Suits.
Just evening time soap operas. Just like Grey's Anatomy. It's just a soap opera in the evening.
We'll get to Grey's Anatomy in a minute. Next.
Oh, The Bachelor, January 20. This month, more
Yes.
Bachelor this month. Can we
Yes.
not have a break?
Well, before this podcast airs, the Golden Bachelor, I thought his name's like Gary, but I always want to say like Jerry or something.
That's because of Parks and Rec.
Yeah. Him and Teresa are having their wedding televised on ABC. But yes, The Bachelor season 28 returns. This is Joey from Charity season. Daniel, you will remember him as the guy that lived in Hawaii because you were like, if he lives in Hawaii, why is he coming on the show? He was the professional tennis instructor. And I was like, does that mean he like instructs tennis professionals? Like, what's the difference between a professional tennis instructor and a tennis
I'm
instructor?
going to go out on a limb and say he teaches old ladies how to play tennis.
I guess. Charity season, I didn't get super into because she actually had a regular love story. There wasn't a lot of drama. I feel like Joey was pretty unproblematic, but y'all know how these shows goes. The producers are evil. So I just hope that we'll get another Bachelor in Paradise because, man, bust. A season that could have been an email. None of the couples are together. Crazy. And I honestly watch people are always like, people always get really high horsey about it too. They're like, why do you watch that crap? And it'll be the same person that asks me that watches The Masked Singer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why do you watch that crap? To be entertained, my dear, to be entertained. And I like Bachelor in Paradise, and I gotta know who my cast is gonna be. All right, next up.
Curb Your Enthusiasm, season 12, and on February 4th it starts, and it is the final season of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
And we are still behind on Curb. We go through
We're not
periods
too far
of time.
though. We got a couple. We're only a
Yeah.
couple seasons back.
We go through periods of time where we get super into it, then we take a break, but then it's always something good to circle
Yeah.
back to. I love how, because from my understanding, the way the show works is they have like kind of a bare bones script, but so much of it is sort of like improv, not like improv, like cringe acting, but they do like, improvise like what they're going to say. And it works. That brand of humor works. I'm excited to see it. Literally, when we first started watching Curb, I thought he actually was married to Cheryl in real life. She's just like a regular actress. And I guess she said like that when the show first came out, like she'd have people come up to her like in airports and be like, "What's it like being married to Larry David?" Because they film it almost like it's as if it's like a reality show, which it's not. All right, next up we've got Abbott Elementary season 3 on ABC February 7th.
We're not allowed to watch this show. Every time we're 2 or 3 episodes into the season 1 of this show, and every single time we start fighting with each other. Not related to the show. Has nothing to do with the show whatsoever. Not like we're not fighting about the show, but something happens.
I think what happens,
we start to fight, and then we are like, we can't watch the show.
We absorb the stress of teachers and get really grumpy with each other. I don't know.
So we're not allowed to watch this show. Sorry, everybody.
Oh, is it your turn? It's your turn.
How is it season 46 of Survivor? That's because they do
skip Ghost season 3.
Oh, Ghost season 3, February 15th on CBS.
Or we'll watch it on Paramount Plus, which is a crappy app, and they need to update their.
I've got some comments about Paramount Plus. I'll wait until we get down to the Star Trek land.
Okay, because you always complain about their app.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, so I put this on here. I've only seen the Survivor All-Stars episodes, which was in 2004 because my roommate at the time was obsessed with Survivor. So I know like Boston Rob, who he ended up marrying, like Jenna, who won that year. Or was her name Jenna? Amber. Boston Rob and Amber. There was a Jenna on there. Ethan and Jenna. They were contestants on there.
Wasn't there the naked guy?
He was on the All-Star season. Richard or whatever his name was. I think it's Richard Hatch, right? Because you want like... You watched some of that All-Star season with us, and you had watched some of season 1, right? Like with your mom?
I have no idea.
But anyway, I know a lot of people like that show, so I included it on there. But season 46, you know why there's 46 seasons? Because it's been on since we were in high school, and they do like multiple seasons a year.
I'm gonna do multiple years. Like it's been 40. It's been a while since I was in high school, but it hasn't been 46 years.
No.
March 10th is the Oscars. We actually do usually watch that award show just because we're masochists.
Well, I really hope that we get I'm Just Ken performance.
They're not going to do it.
They're probably going to have Billie.
They're going to have Billie Eilish come on and sing her song. They're not going to have Ryan do I'm Just Ken.
Oh, but how good would it be to have all the Kens out there dancing?
Oh, it would be great.
It would
it would be
be
television history, but they're not going to do it.
Fantastic. Do you think the Barbie movie is going to win some stuff? Do you think Oppenheimer's going to win some stuff? I think they'll both win stuff, but I don't think I don't see either one of them winning Best Picture. I think it'll be some obscure film that no one's ever seen, as it usually goes. Usually the big popular ones don't win the Best Picture title.
Okay, but let me go a different direction with you. So Oppenheimer, the only reason Oppenheimer really was as big as it was is because of Barbenheimer.
Very true.
It is a Chris Nolan movie, and so Chris and his name brings people to the seats. But
I would love it if Barbie won, though. Oh my gosh, I would be so happy. Both are great movies, but I would just love.
I'm not going to say
won.
either of them can't win. If I had to pick one of the two,
I think they'll pick up different awards. I just don't know if they'll win the big title.
Oppenheimer has the better shot of winning Best Picture than Barbie does. But I do think that Ryan and maybe even Margot could be definitely in the running for actor. Well, Ryan I think might be for like
supporting
actor. So
that would be amazing.
I think they could be in the runnings for that. But when it comes to
just
Best
kidding.
Picture, I think Oppenheimer has a better shot. And I think when it comes to Best Actor, Cillian Murphy.
You want to know how obsessed I am with the Barbie movie, especially over the summer? You know how so my Spotify Wrapped was mostly Taylor Swift, obviously Taylor Swift. But my most played song was Ryan Gosling cover of Push. So there you go, guys. And as Daniel mentioned, Grey's Anatomy is returning on March 14th for season 20.
And that's a real season 20, like a 20 years 20, right?
Yeah.
That's stupid.
That's bizarre.
Is anybody that was on that
show
when it started still on?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Magic is gone. The OGs. Magic, Meredith, Alex, George, Izzy,
okay,
Christina.
okay. The acting and character Magic.
Yes.
I was like, I don't remember that show having magic on it.
That's what we call it, Magic.
It's like this. It's like the last year with the Blacklist. Like this is still on. Like how is this still on? I don't know. So,
whenever the series finale comes, I will tune in because it was for so long one of my favorite shows. But then when you keep messing with my characters, I can't. I got to get out of there.
Oh, I guess you're wanting me to say this next one.
That is how it's going. Unhinged. We should call this podcast Unhinged.
Star Trek Discovery season 5 doesn't.
The final season.
It's the final season. Doesn't have a date listed. Maybe April-ish, I think is what people are thinking. Okay, I gotta admit, I've only watched like 2 episodes of Star Trek Discovery.
I know. I figured I would include that in there. It's just shoehorn your Star Trek crap in.
And I've always kind of thought about going back, and now that I know that it's ending this season, I'll probably...
You actually watched 2 episodes? Because the first episode we watched was after the Super Bowl or something, and it cut it off.
Yeah,
on the
maybe
regular
I only
TV,
watched that then.
And we got so mad we refused to watch it because didn't it have Lucius Malfoy in it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, again, there you go, guys. That's what I do.
But I did have some other Star Trek updates because Paramount Plus sucks.
The app is terrible.
And well, it's not just the app. Like the company, I don't know what they're doing. So they canceled Star Trek Prodigy, which was the kind of the kids cartoon show, and I haven't watched it yet. I'm planning to actually watch it, but then inexplicably, they're like, not only are we canceling it, season 2 was almost done. So we're canceling it, but we're not going to finish season 2.
And didn't they remove it?
And we're
off
taking
there?
it off of Paramount Plus entirely. Like you can't even watch season 1.
That's
so
insane.
The first announcement is season 1 now. Netflix has picked it up. It's on Netflix right now. In fact, as of Christmas Day, season 1 of Star Trek Prodigy is on Netflix. It's a cartoon. It's more in the kind of like kids realm, like 14 area, and Netflix is going to bring season 2 out. So if you've got kids and you want to maybe get them into Star Trek, put them on Netflix. Well, here, let me give you another one. New Year's Day, somebody was like, "Hey, wait a second. Why aren't any of the Star Trek movies on Paramount Plus?" The Star Trek movies are now on Max for some reason.
Well, that's
so
crazy.
You can't even watch all of Star Trek on Paramount Plus. So what's the point? And I have all the movies. Like, I don't need a streaming service to watch the movies because those are my beloved Star Trek. But it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Do you think we'll get Strange New Worlds
this
season
year?
3 in 2024?
No.
That's a big fat bummer.
They just started filming early December. Filming for that show takes months. Then post-production is going to go on. I mean, if they really pushed hard, maybe they could get it towards the end of the year, but I don't think so.
But for all of you House of Dragon fans, season 2 is coming out in summer, some point to be announced on HBO. We watched one episode of season 1. I think we were still dealing with the Game of Thrones fatigue. That is one we will promise by the time it comes out, we will be caught up.
Yeah.
We've got most of the year, well, the front half of the year, I guess. And then, according to Deadline, these are some other shows worth note coming out in 2024, but no date or time frame. This one kind of surprised me, that 90 Show season 2, because I've heard nothing.
Yeah,
about the
I've heard
filming,
nothing about that.
especially with some of the cast, personal, older cast, I guess, of the OG series. Some stuff that came out that, like, I will excitedly watch a season 2 because I thought the first one was good. And then, like I said, My Life with the Walter Boys, they're claiming that season 2 is going to come out in 2024. I'm very skeptical. Star Wars The Bad Batch final season.
Yeah.
Agatha Darkhold Diaries, that was originally intended to come out in 2023. My guess is due to the strike, they held it for 2024.
Most likely.
And then The Boys. No word on The Boys. Are we going to get The Boys in 2024?
The Boys is coming in 2024. No question.
I really
they
need
released that trailer right there in
Yeah.
the December timeframe. They would not have released a trailer if they weren't confident they were going to bring
I
it
hope
out.
we at least get it in the summer.
Yeah, I'd like to see it in the first 6 months of 2024.
Me too. I don't really want to wait till like the way end. And like normally shows that we would get, like normally we've been watching Emily in Paris right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I know they had to stall filming entirely on that. I don't know if they've resumed or not.
Are they doing more Wednesday?
Supposedly we are getting, I mean, we have been confirmed for season 2. There's been no word on filming.
No.
Now I know the actress Jenna Ortega was filming Scream. She has since dropped out of Scream. There's been some controversy with one of the other girls that played her sister in Scream, and I think kind of from my understanding, what I read, it was like almost like a solidarity thing. Like she's like, well, I'm not going to do it either. There's some political stuff involved. I'm sure you Google it if you guys want to know. I'm not going to get into it.
You guys
here.
know about Google, right?
Yeah, Google me. 4 Christmases. I'm really not sure. I would like to see that soon. I don't know. I feel like there's just a lot of things I've been seeing. Like The Summer I Turned Pretty, they're back to filming, but they're telling us now 2025. And I'm just like, I love watching in the summer. And you know what really makes me annoyed? That probably it won't even be early 2025. That we're going to have to like probably wait until summer 2025. So they're going to make us wait even longer. 2025, that's just weird for me to even think about.
Yeah, that's
the
a
year
weird date.
2025.
I don't understand that. I don't comprehend that one. And I know it's only a year away, but that one just doesn't make any sense to me.
And I'm trying to think, but like we've talked about in previous podcasts, so many shows that we really liked are done.
Yeah, I wonder if they've been working on Rings of Power season 2. I wonder if they're going to bring that out this year so I can hate watch it. Because every now and then, look at me, tell me I'm wrong. Every now and then it's nice to watch something and just hate it, but watch it.
I kind of do that within Just Like That, even though I liked the second season better.
I just like it annoys me.
We're getting a third
It
of
annoys
that.
me in every way possible, but I still continue to watch it, and I don't know why.
I think there's going to be a lot of stuff that, as we know, is going to be delayed, pushed back.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be a weird time. And then like I said again, like a lot of the really good shows that a lot of people were into, they're done. They're wrapped. They're finished.
Yeah, we're kind of in a transition period where a lot of those shows finished up, and we're still kind of sitting around waiting for what's the
And
new
I think
big thing
Iger
going to be.
said, like in terms of Marvel shows, they put a halt on those.
Oh, they're going to hold off on that
so
stuff. They're lost.
are we getting another Mandalorian season? Have you heard any? I mean, I know. I'm sure
Last
we are.
news I heard on Mandalorian was they were shifting season 4 into a movie.
Oh, really?
They have no idea what they're doing.
So what is Disney Plus's deal then? What shows are they gonna have? The Santa Clauses? Gonna do another one of those? Like, what's going on?
From a Marvel standpoint or from Star Wars?
From both. Those, I feel like those are the 2 flagship shows that bring viewers in. I know some
So-
people that only get Disney Plus subscriptions for stuff like The Mandalorian.
Yeah, so there are a couple Star Wars shows that we think they haven't announced anything yet, so we really don't know. Like obviously the Bad Batch, but that's animated, so they don't
Yeah.
stand up on that like as much. That there's the one called The Acolyte which is
Yeah.
a show, and it's kind of like a couple hundred years before the Phantom Menace, and it's about like dark side users, and a lot of people are speculating maybe it's even about Darth
Some
Plagueis.
dark-sided stuff.
But we haven't heard anything about it, so we don't know if it's coming this year.
Yeah.
We think it might be.
I feel like there's a lot of shakeups and changes in the Disney company coming.
Yeah.
Not just to parks, but the TV. Like, basically, I think Iger's more or less said they need to reshift on what content they're putting out there. I've personally enjoyed the Marvel shows,
And
so
like,
I'm a little disappointed about
and
that.
there's also Jude Law is in one
Ooh,
called
really?
Skeleton Crew, which is a Star Wars one.
Oh, Star Wars. Okay.
Yeah, but we've not heard, like, we've seen set photos of the Acolyte,
Yeah.
but we've not seen anything of Skeleton
Yeah,
Crew.
so,
So we
like-
really have no idea.
Where does Disney Plus go from here? Like, I don't know. Like, if they're going to be scaling the stuff back in just movies, like, what's going to be their flagship show, their bread and
I
butter?
think right now they're putting heavy down on this Percy Jackson.
Which I have heard from Percy Jackson fans that this show is doing what the movie should have done. So
Yeah,
I think we
I
will
think that's
check
what
it
they're
out. I don't
leaning
know
into.
anything about Percy Jackson. I feel the need to go read the books because I'm one of those people that, like, I have to read the book first. So maybe I'll make that like my goal. And it's a weekly release, Percy Jackson. So maybe I could hurry up and read the books and
Yeah.
then watch. So then I can be like, well, they didn't. That's
You know,
not how it was in
my
the book.
my opinion on Star Wars, I think, has changed a lot over the last few years. Of course, obviously, you know, I think I've talked on this podcast a few times about my thoughts on the sequel trilogy as a movie trilogy. We got all the shows, and I like The Mandalorian. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed The Mandalorian. But the more I've thought about it, the more I've thought, you know, what always used to make Star Wars special was not just that it was Star Wars, but also it just felt like an event. And you don't get that much of it. And I think
So
the
you
way
want another movie?
no, I'm not saying a movie, but I say the way we've been inundated with Star Wars over the last probably 4 years, I think it's too much. I think they need. I don't disagree. Okay, I don't disagree with Bob Iger that they need to pull back and put a little bit more effort
I think a
into what they're
Mandalorian movie,
doing.
if they did a theatrical release,
Yeah.
would do very well though. Because
What
like
I
the show.
disagree with him on is the other part of his comment was, and we need to make sure we have more of our executive people in the production line, and that's like, no, get those
Yeah.
uncreative, money grubbing,
Yeah.
you know, like penny pushers out of the artistic side of it. What they need to do is let Dave Filoni cook.
Yes.
That's all they need to do. Just give him control.
control.
Let him do what he
Full
needs
control.
to do, and just be done with it.
and be amazing. I totally see what you're saying. I know, like, The Force Awakens really truly was an event, and yes, the other ones, like The Last Jedi, people showed up for, and then Rise of Skywalker, people showed up for, but like that Force Awakens was kind of, it brought me back to like the Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
the-
because
when
it's
we
just,
saw
we hadn't
that.
had it in for a
And
long
then-
time.
I'm gonna say, like, I hadn't felt like that fun atmosphere at a movie until we saw the Barbie movie.
Yeah.
And like everybody like in their pink and their
that's
Barbie clothes.
that's what Star Wars should be about.
Yeah.
And I think so if that's the direction they're going, I don't disagree with that direction at all.
I do think a Mandalorian movie would do well though.
I think so, yeah.
I'm not
especially
sure-
if they
sure-
can get Pedro to actually be in
Yeah.
it, because rumors are like he isn't even participating. Like, he's not in the suit most of
Yeah.
the time. And
Just
season
his
3
voiceover work.
Season 3 was the first time they actually credited the guys that are in the suit most of the time. Because if you notice in season 3, he didn't even take his helmet off.
I think it would do well, but I still don't think it would be like the thing that's honestly love it or hate it if they come out with another episode.
I don't
Just
think that
another
even
thing.
they are making another movie with Rey in it,
Yeah.
but they're not calling it episode 10.
Okay. So we're done with the episodes then.
In my opinion, the episodes should be the Skywalker saga,
I really feel like
and they should just leave it at that. If
I
they
feel
want to
like-
start a new saga and say, here's new saga episode 1, do that. I'm fine with that.
I feel like they really dropped the ball and what they could, like, killing off Kylo was poor choice. You could have done so much more and continued, but I just don't think,
Well,
as we've said, here we go again.
Adam Driver came out recently and said he's not
Another
interested in
sequel
being in
rant.
Star Wars
Why
anymore.
would he be?
So,
He's huge now. He
so
doesn't need
even
it.
if they hadn't offed Kylo at the end, they wouldn't have been able to do anything with
His
him because
career has just totally taken off. He doesn't even really need to do that. He doesn't need it anymore. I'm just saying, if he had been contracted, he would have had to. Is what I'm saying. Would it be a podcast if we didn't rant about how poorly planned out the sequels were? I don't think so. But on that note, I think Daniel and I only expected to talk for like 20 minutes in this episode, and it's been a good piece. That's what ranting about Star Wars gets you, right?
that's correct.
and computer failures, all that stuff.
Go watch Star Trek Prodigy on Netflix. That's what I'm going to do. And I'll give you my report
Or
back.
go watch Friday Night Lights season 1 on, I think you can watch on Hulu and Netflix. I know for sure on Hulu. That's what I've been watching it on.
Texas Forever.
There you go. Oh, and if you are wondering about the OC rewatch recap, we do have more of that coming for you, but you're just going to have to wait till next week because we are tired. Now you can say Texas Forever and end it again. Or say, give me a Clear Eyes, Full Hearts Can't Lose.
What's that?
Thanks for listening to this episode of We Watch TV, a podcast about the TV shows we watch. You can find more from Hope and Daniel on Instagram at We Watch TV Podcast. Drop us a line if you like the show, have a question, or a recommendation. You can find Hope on Twitter at Lil Runner and Daniel on Twitter at The Real Hobo Dan. Music for today's podcast was provided by Your Tunes from Pixabay. Artwork was created using the AI program Midjourney with prompts written by Daniel.